There are some promises made in the Uncharted 3 video that I have to fulfill. You know, Ray Gutierrez actually contacted me after that video to tell me how much he enjoyed it. Since he was an employee of the PlayStation video department, I had to ask him if there were Vitas that had video out just floating around Sony, and if I could have one. He responded, yes, they exist, and no.
Revisiting the issue now, any Vita can be hacked, regardless of system version. The only hard part was suffering YouTube tutorials.
So you need the content manager and, if you do, sorry.
The hacking has matured to the point that there is a homebrew app for enabling and disabling hacks by name. Now you hook up the Vita with USB and it flawlessly appears in OBS Studio. Audio has to be captured with the headphones output, but you'll have to have a filter between the Vita and the PC, or the sound will come out.
This portable Nathan Drake adventure was overseen by Naughty Dog, but developed by Bend Studio. But what kind of name is Bend? Well, the news was broke to me while I was in college by a fellow sophomore undergrad. I don't know how the conversation led to, you do realize those Siphon Filter games were made in Bend, Oregon, right? Huh? Yeah, Sony has a studio in the Old Mill District. What, like behind the Old Mill 10? That's a theater. Dude, I love Bend! I mean, it was my hometown, but I grew up like 60 miles away. My elementary class would take field trips to Juniper Park and St. Charles Medical Center. Sarah and I got married in Bend. I proposed to her at Drake Park. I've skied on Mount Bachelor. I've been in the Bend Blockbuster video before it was last Blockbuster video on the planet. Bend is the shit!
So Uncharted Golden Abyss was developed by Bend Studio in Bend, the metropolis of Central Oregon. When you start it up and hear the smooth voice of Nolan North, oh yeah, we're playing Uncharted. All the pieces are there. You and a partner are searching for a lost city in the jungle, betrayal, local warlord with a private army, tits and ass, and Sully. Fun adventure platforming and third-person shooting is sure to follow. The PlayStation Vita was a real powerhouse of a portable. Considering this was 2012, 8 years later and stretched across a TV, I'm sure no one is impressed with the graphical prowess of a PlayStation 2.5. But Uncharted Golden Abyss was a launch title, and it set the bar. By my unprofessional observation, and God, I hope this sounds smart, with the launch of new technology, you usually get tech demos that show off the features, and then there's the real first-party title that everybody wants to play. To the Vita, Golden Abyss is both. The front screen has, in this age, standard quick selections, but also introduced early on are charcoal rubbing. No skill really involved, just some simple fun. Then pieced together ripped up maps, a literal in-game puzzle. And in true archaeological style, you clean off artifacts and rotate them with the back touchscreen. What? Back? This one is used sparingly as appropriate for things like climbing rope and controlling and steering a boat. Other touchscreen features include dragging the route of your climb, not required, but it's there, and all forms of QuickTime. The back camera was used once for a very unique case, something I certainly couldn't do with the PlayStation TV. I kind of equate it to blowing into the DS microphone to spin the fans in Phantom Hourglass. You have a sophisticated integrated device and you just overload it with garbage input. There was a time when my camera was broken and I filmed with my Vita. Hopefully that clears up some unanswered questions. And which camera was broken? Yeah, I don't remember. I'm swimming in broken electronics. Now the best feature used in Golden Abyss, gyroscopic aiming. Oh my god, Wii Remote, step aside. Move the stick for wide sweeps, move the Vita for fine-tuned aiming. Now I wish all shooters could do this. Every shot is a headshot, which is right in line with Nathan Drake, the murderous yet kissable scumbag that he is. I always imagine the most difficult part of writing these stories is choosing a legend for them to chase and creating some kind of object for the hero to possess that activates all the visual basic rocks. Did all this stuff really happen? Well, then the city has to be real. Let's go get it! And when they reach the giant pile of gold, sorry to spoil an adventure game with gold in the title, I really appreciate that it isn't a question of ethics or spirituality, curse or legend. No, you guys literally can't take that. Golden Abyss is totally worthy of the Uncharted brand. You know, I really can't think of a problem I have with this game. I better find something. Okay, the teeth in this game really bother me. Nathan looks like he has a mouthful of broken and missing teeth. I know, it's more of an issue with the graphics engine and hard edges because there is no multi-sampling. I also know that I'm not exactly a model citizen when it comes to teeth. When I was a kid, I visited the dentist once. The nearest dentist was in Bend. I remember that my family went to a buffet afterward, which was odd because my mouth was still all numbed up. The buffet was J.J. North's. You know, right next to Robertson's Ford. My family actually bought some cars from Robertson Ford. What's that saying? Pixar didn't happen? Oh, what's this? Wow, even at the age of 4, I had to be the center of attention.
And now a question from the mailbag. This is from Theodore Stakums in Glibsville, Vermont. He says, "Hey Storm, when are you getting back to the Breath of the Wild review? You obviously got the Switch back from Future Storm." Oh, kind of forgot I was doing that. Tell you what, we'll get it done right after that Wii Fit review.
Naughty Dog was able to jam 4 games in the PlayStation 3 generation, and spent the beginning of the PlayStation 4 generation bringing those games forward. Wow, this one's still shrink-wrapped. Uncharted 4 was released on May 10th, 2016, as apparent by this software protection plan receipt. I remember putting it away thinking, well, I'll get to it eventually. Never opened to this one either. And I know why, because Doom was released 3 days later. I lost track of time and basically forgot about anything else. Can you blame me? A Thief's End. That subtitle bothers me. The Last of Us was a massive success because you idiots like being depressed. I worry that they'll want to capture that lightning again by killing off our beloved characters. Over 200 Game of the Year awards. That can only mean too many groups are handing out Game of the Year awards. I understand there's no need to continue Uncharted sequels into perpetuity, but I really don't understand why sadness has to be praised. And on top of the far overdone zombie genre, pirates? Uncharted 4 is about pirates? Oh God, Naughty Dog, don't screw this up. The game starts in medias res. Alright, I learned the smart term for it. Nathan Drake and a dude are racing away from danger and presumably toward pirate treasure. Oh, I've been playing too many Wii Call of Duty games. This looks amazing! Then we flash all the way back to Kid Nathan in an orphanage. He escapes in the night to meet our tutorial and his older brother. Well, that little detail was confidently avoided in the previous games. Next up is the intentional imprisonment of the Drake brothers 15 years before the current, where we learn the treasure of this game is the lost riches of pirate Avery Henry, and the first clue is the cross of St. Dismas. After some inconsequential tragedy and opening credits, we are brought up to the present day. Nathan is done adventuring and he works a 9-to-5 in salvage. I initially thought the bridge structures looked like Sacramento, but I think he's living in New Orleans, if this sign is to be believed. And if that's the case, I don't know which river this is. Bend has a major waterway running through it. Yeah, the Deschutes River, which is the name of the county, and also the name of the major brewery. Nathan has seriously settled down because Lena and him are now married. Oh, I feel you, bro. Just zone her out. She's not saying anything important. And she'll run out of steam eventually. If she asks you any follow-up questions, just improv an answer. You have about a 50-50 shot of saying something right. Tragedy has a way of resolving itself because Nathan's brother, Sam, shows up with the MacGuffin to continue the treasure hunt from 15 years ago. Now, isn't this whole introduction just objectively better than dog shit Last of Us? Nathan Drake is about to leave the simple life to jet set looking for clues for pirate treasure, along with taking the time to fully realize an inside joke. Elena teaches Nathan how to play Crash Bandicoot. Isn't this awesome?
No, child death is much better.
The first bullet point to highlight, this game is massive. It retained the same number of chapters as Uncharted 1 and 3, but the chapters are hella long. Some felt like an entire hour to finish, and about half the game is in the jungle landscape looking for pirate booty. The opposition this time is Nadine and her mercenary army. The motivation is, once again, we're looking for the same treasure, but we ain't working together. On the subject of Nadine, just look at that face render. Yeah, the animators did an amazing job of giving every character an expressive face, but damn, this shit is real. On the subject of Nadine's army, these are the ones who Nathan and Sam will be blowing the brains out of without remorse. Something I don't recall in the older Uncharted games is the emphasis on stealth. You'll stumble into an encounter and encouraged not to use any firepower. But this isn't Hitman or Metal Gear. It's really rare to catch an enemy alone and pick off. Additionally, we already have a mature third-person shooting engine, so I don't see the need to stealth out most of the game. It gets, well, boring. Most of the time, I just instigated the shootout. I don't see the disadvantage. Maybe I'm not getting one of those hidden trophies. Oh well. Let's have some fun here. I felt compelled to complain about Golden Abyss just giving away the path to climb, removing any mystique or pathfinding. Now I'm saying there is something to be said about this handholding. Uncharted 4's locales are so sublime that I had irritating trouble finding the way forward. Oh, that's my exit? Right, let me just take a flying leap here. Navigating these roofs are like driving in Bend, Oregon. When driving in Bend, you get the sense that they built the city and told everyone it's all good. Oh wait, you wanted roads? Driving in from the south, like from Lapine, would just dump you onto 3rd Street. In the late 90s, construction on a bypass began, and when it was finished, we saw it didn't help. The bypass has stoplights at intersections where left and right turns are illegal. I played Golden Abyss when it came out, but lacking the ability to capture, I didn't bother attempting a video. Between then and now, I heard Nolan North in other games, and it just felt wrong. Shadow Complex Remastered was almost ruined when I heard that Nathan Drake coming through. With Sam Drake voiced by Troy Baker, I can't help but hear Vincent from Catherine. Shit, wait, didn't I say I wasn't going to talk about the game anymore? Or did I put a hex on it? I can't keep up with all my lies. Admittedly, my complaints are minuscule when you consider the hours of fun explanation and pirate lore. I appreciate small extras like showing the construction behind the Visual Basic traps. Now, I have to think, there was a team that engineered the mechanisms. They probably also had a QA department.
Okay, got another one. What if you push all the stones at the same time?
Oof, talk about a catastrophic crash. And it's really nice seeing a married couple actually getting along, working to climb and murder together. It was really endearing.
It's just like old times, huh?
Now that ending? I talk a lot about endings. Reaching the credits is really important to me because I want to complete the experience. And I plenty hear the defense, it's about the journey, not the destination. Yeah, well, if there wasn't a destination, there would be no journey. So the journey is just as valid as the destination. It was really nice. Kind of the anti-Last of Us. Where the first God of War ending left my mind blown, Uncharted 4 left me smiling and happy. I knew you guys had it in you. I think I'll have to retire that Nathan Drake serial killing joke, which will be difficult because I never have hope of retiring any running gag. I'm sure this marks the end of Nathan Drake's story, as Naughty Dog probably enjoys universal acclaim more, even if it means bumming everyone out. They have 4 massively successful franchises, so they're good at moving on. I'd also be fine if they threw the engine at Ben's studio or Ready at Dawn and said, make prequels.
Got another question from the mailbag. You're not Scott the Woz, you're not funny, kill yourself.
With all this love for Uncharted, I have to check out Lost Legacy. You know, Girl Uncharted. It's about to get sexist up in here. This entry is described in relation to Uncharted 4 as a standalone expansion, which is more generally known as a sequel? I don't know. I first learned about this game when I saw it on a store shelf and bought it. Do you know where I bought this game? Oregon. And why?
So no sales tax.
Whenever I visit the state, I find myself wandering around a local Walmart looking at the bargain games. Those purchases generally fall off short-term memory because I own 2 copies. It seems I visit Oregon a lot. Well, which one do I open? Sounds like the disc is rattling around loose in this case, so I'll open this one. As the cover implies, this game co-stars Nadine, whose army was recently slaughtered by Nathan and Sam, teaming up with Chloe, also seen in a few PlayStation 3 entries, known as Shut Up! Lost Legacy takes place in India. Chloe is half Indian, and she is continuing the family hunt for a golden tusk. Whoa, where did she just put Ganesh? There is another party following them with nefarious plans for the treasure. Well, all the pieces are in place for adventure. Let's go! A lot of elements from A Thief's End carry over into Lost Legacy, such as the hookshot and sections with the Jeep. It's a bit harder to control the Jeep in this one, because, you know, women drivers. Very early on, Chloe and Nadine enter a fairly open area and find 3 points to activate in order to move on to the next area, but also 12 extra credit points of interest, all of which can be completed in no particular order. Did Uncharted just get non-linear? But Naughty Dog executed it flawlessly. Each point is like a Breath of the Wild shrine with a unique element to puzzle solve, and any long climbs are complemented with an easy way down. If you complete all the non-essential points, I don't think it's much of a spoiler to point out that the prize is a bracelet. I shit you not. In this female-centered game, the side mission prize is jewelry. I admit, my mind began to wander watching them pal around looking for the treasure, because I don't know how girls act when guys aren't around. I imagine they're cutting gassers in the Jeep trying to gross each other out. They are in India, so they're probably eating a lot of curry. The combat carried over from Uncharted 4, and with it, the importance of stealth. Groan. But Lost Legacy incorporated something you'd expect for this. A silenced weapon. Thank you, now I can Sam Fisher my way out of a sticky situation. Even more than any previous Uncharted, I'm really impressed by the detail to nature and wildlife. Now, in Bend, if you want to see some wildlife, just head on down to the High Desert Museum. The otters are always the highlight. And I know what you're thinking. High Desert? I thought you were talking about Oregon. Yeah, well, everything east of the Cascades in Oregon is a desert. Yeah, you didn't know this because it isn't on the I-5 corridor. And if it isn't on the I-5 corridor, then it doesn't matter to those guys in Salem. Is Lost Legacy good? Yeah, it's almost getting passé heaping on all this praise. It's a smaller, but meaningful part of the franchise. Remember when Nathan first appeared and we all scoffed, heh, Indiana Jones much? 6 games in, and Uncharted is now the name of adventure, and we didn't get any horrid Temple of Doom entries. I did watch some reviews that pointed out that Uncharted 3 was just terrible in comparison to number 2. Was it really? Relax. I say pick any of them, and you're set for a good time.
Your old stuff was good. You got fat. Take a shower, you smell. Oh, Sarah. Ah! If you're so on Ben Studios' nuts, why don't you just play Days Gone? Well, yeah. But we're still doing zombies? They're not zombies. They're freakers. Freak? What? The Last of Us did the same thing. They're not zombies. No. They're infected. Well, you know, a zombie by any other name, would it suck any less? Takes place in Oregon. Okay, hand it over. It was always assumed that I was college bound. In my senior year of high school, a classmate I didn't talk to very often asked me why I was going to college. I told him I was going to Klamath Falls to attend the Oregon Institute of Technology. He put the acronym together and said, OIT? You're going to OIT? OIT. Now this guy I was talking to was going to Bend to attend the Central Oregon Community College. Cock! And since then I've learned that COCC is built on a steep hill, so the students lovingly refer to it as Cock on the Rock. You know, I got a copy of this that I never opened, and never opened that guy. Never opened this one, or that Star Wars. Got a copy of this. One of these are still floating around. I never opened these guys. What am I doing?